All right, before we get going, I just want to let you know we're making some changes to the shows. The shows you love will all be there in podcast form in one place under the banner Revenge of the Nerds. Check out The Fandemic live streaming most Sunday nights to give your weekend one last shot of awesome. All right, welcome to The Fandemic. We are your one-stop podcast. Every week, we're going to give you all the things to level up your awesome. For starters, we will start every week with the War Report. That's right, the What's Awesome report for the week. With all the who's it's and the what's it's, if it's awesome, we got to talk about it. Once you find out what's awesome, then we're going pre-venge part of the show and tell you the stories that could have led to your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. It might be a list, it might be a pitch. One thing's for sure, you're awesome will be leveled up due to this. When we're going to get, then we're going to get into a little bit into versus mode. This is where we take two characters of awesomeness and we tell you the story of how they meet, fight, and most importantly, who kicks who's, as Leia would say, patuckus. I'm Bradley Butin, and this is my amazingly awesome with a cold co-host,
Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for the Kugel Blitz.
All right, welcome to the Fandemic. Brian, it's been a couple weeks. How you been, man?
I've been doing all right. I'm doing all right. Fighting a little bit of a cold today, but I am
Mhm.
undaunted. So I'm ready to level up my awesome with you, my tag team partner.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, last week was Father's Day, and more
Yes,
importantly,
sir.
it was Juneteenth. And
Yes.
all day I'm like, should we do it? I was in a tremendous amounts of pain, so we ended up taking the week off. We're both fathers, so it was okay.
It was a cool day to
But
spend with the kid, with family. Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're all about: keeping things positive and being awesome, right?
Absolutely, sir. And there are very few things more awesome than being a dad. And some of our very favorite characters throughout nerddom are dads. In fact, we're going to talk about, I think, probably going to mention one very particular one during today's podcast.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we will. So Brian, I got one important question I need to ask you.
Hit me, sir.
What's awesome, man?
Uh, in general terms, anything and everything is awesome. Whatever makes your day awesome. But as far as me, what has been awesome for me is this has been a very fun week. Doing a lot of cool things. I have to get to talk to a school tomorrow, so I've been prepping for
Ooh,
my intro and get to talk to some elementary school kids tomorrow. That sounds incredibly fun. And honestly, I have just been deluged with so many cool things. The stream to watch. Kind of some old movies. It's a very cool
yeah.
thing. So whatever is awesome, whatever makes your day go better, and there's not, as we like to say, there's no limit on what is awesome. So
hmm
this week, awesome has just been getting ready to talk to some kiddos, and again trying to get about all the cool things that we're streaming right now.
I dig it, man. Well, let's go right into our what's awesome report. So, Brian, what's your awesome report? What
All
made
right,
your list?
so we got to start off. So we talked about, a week ago today as we're recording was Father's Day, and we talked about what's awesome, what's going on. Well, we got to lead with, I think, what is probably the most awesome thing of our What's Awesome report, which is the season one finale of Obi-Wan. And
Oh
of
my
course,
gosh.
you could not have asked for more than this because we got an elongated appearance by everybody's favorite absentee dad, Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. So obviously, I want to get your take on this. But the episode was, which I loved about it. I don't think we've ever seen this in any Star Wars product. That basically the entire episode was a lightsaber fight. I mean,
Yeah.
that pretty much was. We had a little bit of things before, a little bit of things tailing off to what we're going to see next. That moving forward, obviously
Yeah.
tying into future products, but really the bulk of the episode was what we wanted. Anakin Vader v Obi-Wan, and like I said, that elongated battle, which was just great to see. We
hmm
finally got to see the master versus the student. No
Yeah.
holds barred. No one's holding back. Let's see really who is better.
And it really gave credence to a lot of the dialogue that Vader had with Obi-Wan in episode 4. I mean, he's
Yes.
more machine than man. Um
Right. Right.
and the to a certain point of view as well. I mean, pretty much. I mean, he got those lines straight from Vader. So, you
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
have you read
Well,
the
what?
from a certain point of view books? There's I think like
No, I
3 of them.
haven't.
So
I have not.
yeah, so it's different parts of Star Wars from a different
Okay.
perspective. Like they have Aunt Beru, which I tell you what, she was one of the stars of episode 6. I mean,
Mhm.
man, like
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean you can't say much bad about Aunt Beru, right?
Right.
Anymore.
Right. Right.
Uh, but yeah, definitely check him out if you get. I don't think I had him. I think I got him off from the library. But if you ever get a
Not a problem.
chance, they're
Yep.
really cool. They're really cool to read.
Okay. Well, what we got here was really, again, if we go back to episode 4, and that really, that not only that face off between Vader and Obi-Wan at the end of episode 4,
Hmm.
but really even as Luke would speak to the Force ghost of Obi-Wan and really trying to get and certain perspectives, and Obi-Wan, let's say, playing a little technically with the truth, right?
Right.
Of he'd always said, that Vader killed Anakin, and all those sorts of things. But you're right; it played right into it, where when Vader says, you know, Obi-Wan didn't kill Anakin, Vader
Hmm.
killed Anakin. That it was a choice. He
Yeah.
chose to become Vader. And before we get too much into this, hats off to the producers, the writers, and really they melded such great at the end of that when you had to see when the helmet split.
Yeah.
And you got kind of a mashup of Hayden Christensen's voice
Oh
and
yeah.
James Earl Jones's voice, and that little kind of robotic muffling. And
Hmm.
you could see because they'd always done a great job of whatever the breathing apparatus that's in the helmet gives him the James Earl the cool voice, right?
Yeah.
And but Anakin was there. I mean, and Hayden Christensen was there. It was just done so well, just so well.
Yeah. There's so many great parts of that episode. I mean, like, that was amazing. That final that went with that. And then you had Ahsoka take off part of his mask. You had Obi-Wan take off part of his mask, and you have Luke remove his full mask.
Right,
So
right.
also perfectly placed. Hello there.
Yes,
Oh my gosh. And going into the series, I thought for sure Reva was gonna die, and then as it
I
was
agree with you.
progressed, I was like,
I
okay. I mean,
agree
like,
with you.
I mean, I feel like that's what it was, but now I'm like, okay, is there if there's gonna be a Reva, is she gonna pop up an Andor? Is she gonna help out
Right,
with the path? I mean,
right,
are we gonna get a
right.
Reva show where they're gonna bring Quinlan Voss in there? I mean, there. Good job,
I mean,
good
the
job on that
character
character.
has, regardless of the trolls out there, the character has taken off. The character is extremely popular. I was
Right.
about to read an article where Moses, the actress that plays
Hmm.
Reva, actually refused to wear a wig in the show because by the fact that she is a black woman, assuming that little black children will want to
Mm,
play her, that her hair would be realistic and natural. So that would just be would be true African American hair.
yeah.
So no one has to try and change their hair to get the full look. So just think about that sensitivity wise just made me again love the character I already loved. So more third sister, you're right. I hope she's in future projects,
Hmm.
but it really ended for uh I was going to ask you this, and I feel it's such a loaded question, but in Disney Plus, we've now had 3 Star Wars series. We've had
Yeah.
2 seasons of Mandalorian, one of Book of Boba Fett, and now Obi-Wan.
We have the
Do you
Bad
have
Batch
a
too.
favorite? Correct,
I
correct,
mean,
and
yeah,
Bad
I mean,
Batch as
live
well.
action, you got 3. I mean, but then
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Um, do I have a favorite live action Star Wars? I would have said Mandalorian until Obi-Wan. This is my
Right.
favorite. Obi-Wan is my
Oh,
absolute favorite
yes.
just because of what it's a better stitching of the prequels to the original trilogy.
Very true. Very true. Very
So I
true.
mean, like, and there's just parts of that show where it makes the prequels better, and then there's more parts that you're like, oh, like they did their homework. I mean, like this is amazing. This is like,
Yes, they delved deep when they made this. And
yeah.
of course, we got what we needed all along. And it ended the way it should because we got our Qui-Gon. We got our
Hmm.
Qui-Gon,
And
which
Emperor
is,
Palpatine.
yes, very true.
Yeah,
Very true. Very true. I just, for some reason, I wanted Qui-Gon to go. He has a unique set of skills. That's
I
really
know.
what I wanted. I just wanted Qui-Gon to give me a little taken, but
And
that's
then
okay.
right, and then the only other thing that I really wanted in the episode is when Vader was on top of him after throwing all the rocks on him. I wish he would have said, "I have the high ground."
That
Missed.
oh,
That would have been such a that
missed
was a missed
opportunity. That would have
opportunity.
been great.
Oh my gosh!
That
And
would have
then
been great.
I love how it was the rocks, like Obi-Wan was throwing rocks because Princess Leia was
Yes.
like, "Can you pick up a rock for me?" And
Right, right.
he picked up all the rocks. Oh man, so good,
Yes, he
so good.
did. He channeled his inner earthbender. Um,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, the one thing that I've seen in lots of memes, the one thing that may have actually helped it when Vader did have the advantage, that if he as he was lifting him up and trying to do the force choke, had
Mhm.
Obi-Wan gone a little harder, I think that maybe would have taken Vader out of his moment just enough, and
Yeah.
then Obi-Wan could have taken that. So if any kids that didn't understand that, you shouldn't have, and we'll move forward. All right.
So a couple questions for you in regards to the finale of Obi-Wan. One, do you think that it's these battles that are keeping that little part of Anakin alive? Because the first time he meets with Obi-Wan, he does fail to kill him. Do you think that's just seeing him out alive and broken and everything like that brought back some of the good in Anakin? And then the second meeting where he was spared, where Obi-Wan really could have killed Vader and he was
Sure.
spared, and that brings back the good in him.
I believe it's somewhere in the middle. I definitely think
Okay.
the connection to Obi-Wan as long as they write those battles, I think do harken back to, very different than the Qui-Gon Obi-Wan relationship, or even what we see, especially when we see Jedi training, different than Qui-Gon Obi-Wan, different than Yoda Luke. We have our first cameo. Uh,
Hi, Leia.
we typically see. Hi. Peace, love, and chicken nuggets. That might be my new theme for my life. That might be my new life motto.
Right, I
But
know, and
usually
I think we may have to add that in the end of the episode.
that might be a thing.
Oh, you want to hear it, Leia? Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Here.
Oh.
There you go. Talk in the mic.
Hi, Princess Leia.
Hi.
The microphone.
How are you?
Good.
I'm glad. I love my bracelet, by the way.
Thank you. I just beat my mom and
Uncle.
2 times in Uno flip in a row.
That mic will never be the same, but that's very cool.
I'm amazing at the game. And by the way, you did buy the right waffles this time.
Okay. Now that I can't hear.
Yes, but you did buy the white raffle, and that will come up later, I'm sure. Okay,
Right.
back.
Say bye.
Tell her I said bye.
Bye. He says bye. All right, kiddo.
Okay, so real quick to close this up, I love the cameos. Is what we typically see with the Padawan master relationship is much more father son,
Mhm.
parental, paternal, or grandpa relationship like we saw with Yoda and Luke. Versus when it was Obi-Wan and Anakin, it was much more brotherly.
Yeah.
It was much more, even though they use the terminology master and all this sort of stuff, they were much more peers
Mhm.
than they were that traditional relationship. So that led to that caused that bond to be quite different. So you're right. So I think every time he got to face off against Obi-Wan until the battle in episode 4, where he truly does strike it down, he become more powerful than you can imagine. That kept some part of Anakin alive. That once he did that truthfully was, I think, Vader taking over until we get to episode 6.
Yeah, and then it's the one thing that really adds to the story, the Skywalker saga now, is how the importance of Leia. I mean, she is
Yes.
10 times more important now than she was, before. I mean, and just because of the backstory with Obi-Wan. But he died after he saw the twins reunited,
Sure.
And so anyway, another question for you,
It
buddy.
also really, I think, makes her. We'd also been showed how powerful Luke is when it comes to the Force.
Hmm.
I think she's far more Force sensitive than Luke is.
Oh,
I mean, when you look
absolutely.
at her her
Hmm.
perception, all that, she's far more, which makes you think like if she had got the advantage of that true Jedi training. What they also show it in the latter part of the, I'm not sure what you call a 9-part trilogy, but
The
the
saga.
episodes, there you go, the saga. We saw a lot in episodes 7 and 8. That her again, with not nearly the level of training that that her brother went through, that Luke went through, that she is still incredible, able some incredible things. So I love the fact it was about, well, what if, that's a great one to prevent. What if Leia had been the one that grew up and was able to train at the knee of Obi-Wan,
Hmm.
and then Yoda versus Luke, if you had switched those roles,
Yeah.
had Luke, because remember the only reason that she's an Organa versus going to Tatooine is that the Organas wanted a daughter. What if they wanted a son?
Right.
That completely, if Jimmy Smith makes another choice, how much different things may be, right?
Well, or like, oh hey, why don't I just take the daughter and the son? you
Yeah, it
know,
was kind of like you can't take them both,
right?
right? Right.
And then why another what if would be really cool again is well, why didn't Obi-Wan just go with Yoda to Dagobah with the twins? And they are on the
Yeah,
dark side planet that's going to be keep them clouded from the Emperor, and they train them.
yeah. Versus let's send one to the lap of luxury and one to squalor in a desert moon, and like, oh yeah, they'll be
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Nothing bad can happen here. It's great.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Not like
No.
they're looking for them. Yeah, right.
All right, let's
By the
move
way,
on.
here's
Hmm.
last thing. Here's a great way to hide a kid. Keep it with the same name.
Oh yeah.
Let's go say, oh yeah, Skywalker. Yeah, no one ever finds them. Yeah, all right. There's so many
Wasn't she
Skywalkers right
a
there.
famous Jedi?
Right.
Hmm.
So all right, but yeah, Obi-Wan, fantastic. We haven't done these in a little bit. Okay, let's do our beardy scale of 1 to 5. What you put on your beardy scale?
Oh man. So the
Don't do it.
oh, you know where this is going.
Oh,
This
come on,
is Chris Stapleton. This is Chris Stapleton singing Lagrange with ZZ Top at the fairground, packed,
man.
supporting
Okay.
their
All
brand
right.
new
Sure.
beard balm that gives you more volume to the beard. This
Okay.
is, if there was anything that's going to get a 5 out of a 5, this is it.
Other than all the other things you've given
This is
5s throughout
right.
the ratings, right?
This is better. This is a
Okay.
better 5 than the other
This is a
5s.
better 5. Yeah. All right. So, for those of you that don't know, this name is certainly fine. But Dave Meltzer, who does a lot of wrestling reviews, Brad and I are both big professional wrestling fans. He gave so many things 5 stars. He's now had to go to like 7 stars of matches. I think that's where we're headed. We're up to like 9 beardies.
Right.
I will not give it 5 because 5 is perfection, but I give it definitely a 4.98, which is basically Chris Stapleton, well, not with ZZ Top, with he is there though with R.I.P. Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott, and Elliott just looking at Stapleton's beard going, I thought it would be bigger. That's what I'm talking about, man. There we go.
Now, in your hypothetical, does Sam Elliott have his signature amazing mustache?
Of course he does. He
Okay.
doesn't have to grow the beard. His stash is all it takes. And by
Right.
the way, we gotta have to prevent facial hair fights. So Elliott's beard versus Chuck Norris. I mean Elliott's mustache versus Chuck Norris's beard. Like which one of those is tougher?
Actually, I think we'd have to stay with mustache and mustache. We'd have to go Kurt Russell versus Sam Elliott.
But which Kurt Russell? Because he's got some classic ones out there.
Bone Hawk Tomahawk.
There it is.
Bone Saw Tomahawk.
Yep, yeah, I know you're talking about. Yep. That's
Bone
it.
Saw Tomahawk.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Such a great movie. Oh my god, such a great movie.
All right. Okay, sir. Who are you? What's up for your awesomeness? Where are you leading us?
Oh man. So we did a total rewatch of Stranger Things. So that's kind of been where I've been at. So I'm all caught up on Stranger Things along with my wife. And besides that, really, I've been playing a lot of Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. It is absolutely fantastic. If you don't have it, you should definitely get it. I have it on the Switch. It's so much fun. There was a new episode of Superman and Lois this week. Superman and Lois has kind of fallen off a little bit for me.
Okay.
It's good, but like my big problem with it is this world-ending thing that is happening.
Sure.
I don't even know the villain's name. Like it's
Gotcha.
not a normal comic villain for Superman,
Okay.
and so therefore you kind of lose me on that. They're taking the Bizarro thing to the extreme. It's good. There's one more episode left, and I'll finish out the season. It's not as good as season 1,
Darn.
but
Yep.
there are shining moments in it. I mean, where John Kent, or not John, but oh my gosh, I can't think of the other brother. The one of the superpowers is really good.
Oh, okay.
And
Sure.
then
Sure.
the one of the best parts of Superman Lois
Jordan.
is Jordan. Thank you. Is Steel.
Okay.
Is Henry Irons and his daughter, Natalie, is just shining. It's chrome. It's not steel. It's chrome in this, man. I mean, she is stealing the show right now. As a matter of fact, I really hope that they should have, instead of doing Naomi, they should have just used that should have been a spinoff of Superman and Lois, and it should have been her.
Gotcha.
Because it's great. She is fantastic in it. Other than that, we just start now, Brian.
No one can take Lana. I'm sorry. The best part of Superman and Lois will always be Lana Lang because, well, yeah. Hey, please continue.
Oh, nothing. I have to come clean. I have never watched Sons of Anarchy until today. Wife and I started Sons of Anarchy.
I've seen it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna let you finish. I was really into it, and then there's one thing, like too many things were coming out around the same time, and I lost connection with it. It is an excellent show.
Yep, we're 3 episodes in, so she's seen it all, and it's weird because like that's the show that she had watched and I didn't watch. So.
Sure.
So that is my What's Awesome report, Brian. What finished up yours?
All right, I got a few things that I'll cover fairly quickly. Number one, we haven't really talked much about it. Got to give it up to Miss Marvel. 3 episodes in, fantastic. I gotta say, I think this has been one of the most well done origin stories. As great as I think they did with Moon Knight, this is the complete opposite, where they're just going into this full bore. She's gonna get her power. She's gonna do this. This is when Peter Parker has been done the best. Very similarly. Yeah. Very similar in how they handle Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is doing. They've changed the powers up a little bit, include a little bit of their source, which I think is actually better than some of the comic sources. Knowing that she's going to be in the Marvels movie, I'm really excited for that. We've talked before in text over. It has such an '80s vibe.
Yeah.
Bruno is totally Marty McFly, and if him and Doc had a kid, it's totally Bruno. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why we've not met Bruno's parents. It's this weird relationship with Doc and Marty that we don't talk about. But he's really there. Doc was born one of the kids and stole some of Marty's DNA, and there you go. Totally, I'm almost called you Marty. I don't know if you've been keeping up on it yet because there's so much. But the second episode where she meets kind of the dream boat, that's totally a adventures in babysitting vibe.
Yeah.
In that, it's just so great how they handling with the idea with the gin and not Antonic, but the actual gin DJINN for anyone that's not sure what we're talking about. Yep, totally spoiler, but check that out. It has been done so well. On the opposite of the spectrum with Miss Marvel, you got The Boys. So for every kid that is in the comics and superheroes should watch Miss Marvel. Every kid who's in the comics and superhero, do not watch The Boys until you're at least 18. I almost did what my S was going to be for this week. I almost made a hero-gasm. But I still can't quite process everything I saw. Yeah. That being said, really great episode. I think that the Boys won my son's war report this week. And I just love how they're taking the relationship between Huey and Starlight. Who, Brad, where's Starlight from?
Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines, Iowa. Also, if you have your and also, hey, if you know the show Evil, Bradley Leland, one of the major
Mhm.
antagonists in Evil, where is he from?
Is he from Iowa too?
Des Moines, Iowa. Went to
Is
Roosevelt
he
High School.
really?
They
Oh,
actually
I
did
do
that level
remember
of
that.
detail. He went to
Yeah,
Roosevelt High School.
I
And if
do
those that
remember
don't
that
know
now.
this,
Yeah.
we podcast from the Des Moines, Iowa area.
Hmm.
Roosevelt High School is a real high school in Des Moines. I'm not saying that the willing servant of the devil went to Roosevelt, but I've been to Roosevelt, possibly. Okay.
It's possible. It
Um,
is possible.
Yes, yes. So two more in my war report. One is the third season of Umbrella Academy has been fantastic.
Has it?
My son's already finished it. I think I'm on episode 5 or 6,
Mhm.
doing it really well. It takes on a really great journey
Okay.
with the Umbrella Academy. How they've handled Elliot Page and now Victor in the Umbrella Academy, I think has been really well done.
Good.
I know it's got a lot of really good vibes from the LGBTQ community. So congratulations on Elliot Page. I know he really spearheaded a lot of how that was going to be handled in the show. I think they've done a really great one. And then finally, I want to end up my report with what I'm going to try and integrate every time, my WB TV, my way back throwback. Just a movie or television show that I think is worth rewatching. Muller's got to be at least 5 years old, because in
Hmm.
today's world, 5 years old is ancient history.
Yeah.
So this one is one of my favorite movies. That was the first movie that was rated R, and I took my son to. I think he was 13. Oh, okay, we'll try it. And it is The Book of Eli.
Nice.
So one of my favorite Denzel Washington
Hmm.
movies. It's got a lot of multiple themes when it comes to religion, disability, how we handle the environment, how we function as a society,
Yeah.
literacy, all these sorts of things. Gary Oldman is always a fantastic villain. If you're not familiar with Book of Eli, the action scenes are impeccable,
Yeah.
just fantastic. So, last one for you. So, who you picking in a fight, sir? Eli versus John Wick.
John Wick.
Okay, Okay, with edged weapons, no guns.
No guns.
Edged
Okay.
weapons.
Then it will be Eli.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
in order for John Wick to be at his best, he has to have guns, or
Okay.
at
All
least
right.
ammo, or a way to reload.
All
So
right. All right.
he's
Okay.
not Neo.
Well,
He's
if only John Wick would have been Neo in the most recent Matrix. That man, that man
Yeah.
saved us all about 2.5 hours.
Oh
You
man.
know what? Lawrence Fishburne. Okay, tangent. Lawrence
Yep.
Fishburne had to sit back and watch that movie and go, "Yep, good decision. Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
You know, he had to be texting Carrie Ann Moss. Okay. glad you signed on, aren't you? Okay, all right, okay. Anyway, with that, that will close up my war report. But definitely, again, please, if you're not familiar with Book of Eli, by the way, it's streaming on Netflix. Everything I'm going to bring up is actively streaming.
Nice.
Please check out Book of Eli. If you've not seen it, check it out. Just a really cool, fun movie. Again, lots of deeper things you want to get into all that. And if you're not watching Miss Marvel, please check it out. Especially, I do not have a little girl. I've got lots of nieces, and you got a little girl in your life that you care about, and you want to show her cool things that are going on with being a superhero. Check out Miss Marvel. It is a fantastic show.
Miss Marvel is so close to a live action Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, it's art. It's more
Yes,
artistic, and
yes,
the artistic part of Miss Marvel
yes,
is
yes,
one of the biggest parts of her character. So I mean,
absolutely.
I really think that they are really hitting all of the things that they need to. At
Right,
first, I was a little bummed because they didn't make her an Inhuman. Um,
right.
but yeah, I mean, especially after they introduced Black Bolt in the multiverse,
Yes,
However, who cares? The show is
right.
just fantastic.
It is.
And then Brian, are you caught up on Evil? I know that season 3 is a few episodes in now.
I definitely I just finished up season 2 to restart to start season 3 this week. So I'll be
Okay.
caught up on Evil by the time we record next week.
Me too. I'm in the same spot as you. So we more to come on
Yes.
Evil in probably the What's Awesome report next week.
Yes.
Brian, are you
I
ready
kind
to?
of do this one, Luke. I kind of want real quick. I just kind of want Luke.
Yeah.
I just really want to put on a hoodie and go Luke Cage sometimes on Leland. Let's like
Oh,
do.
I know. I
I just want to
know.
see. I just want to say "Sweet Christmas" so badly.
Right?
Or if you know from the Good Fight, just like Jude, just come on, Mike, give us one.
Man. Yes. I really hope he's not done with Luke Cage.
Thank you. I was about to say the same thing.
Man, because there is no other. I mean, he is about as
No.
perfect. I mean, him or Terry Crews are pretty much the
Yes.
only people that can
Yes.
pull off.
Yes.
Can pull off Luke Cage. And if
I
you do
mean,
Terry Crews, it's going to be an older Luke Cage.
yes, and I think we've said this before. We look at those folks that were on the Netflix series that are now
Mhm.
on Disney Plus. They had four. They had four. They had four series that really tie into the. Well, actually, five if you count Punisher. There's space for Punisher. There's space for Jessica Jones. There's space definitely for Daredevil. There's space definitely for Luke Cage, and we got Shang-Chi. So
Yeah, we don't need
Iron
Iron Fist.
Fist.
Sorry.
Maybe he can sell Shawarma. He can sell Shawarma. You
Yeah,
know.
he could get lost in Kunlun or what? Yeah,
Yes.
whatever his place. Yeah.
You know what? He could have been in Wondagore when Wanda.
Oh yeah. He could have been part of the Illuminati that Wanda.
Yes. He could have been. He could have been a janitor for the Illuminati. That would have been great. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, I watched that now. I think 3 times since last Wednesday. But anyway, I'll let us wrap it up, sir. So take us home, Bradley.
All right, so Brian, we are going to move on to the next part. So this next part, this
Yes,
is
sir.
our prevenge part of the show. First, we're going to go over our topic of the week, and then we're going to do a little bit of a tat. And I'm looking forward to Brian's tat today, and then we'll go into the third part of the show. Brian, what is our topic? What are we going to be talking about?
Okay, so really, when we talk about Revenge of the Nerds, while we spend so much time talking about fantasies and movies and all the fun stuff, Revenge of the Nerds really is meant to be things that me and Bradley really enjoy. So we've gone off of some other areas. A few weeks ago, we did a show about professional wrestling. We've done Halloween themed show. And so tonight, if you're listening and not seeing us, we're two gentlemen who have not missed many meals in our lives. And if we're going to start off our day, we're going to start off with one of my personal favorite meals of the day. You can have it morning, noon, or in the evening. The one, the only, the meal that actually means breaking your fast, and it is breakfast.
Well played, sir. Yes, man. So when you were coming up with your list what was your thought pattern on how did you come up with your list before you get into it?
I thought about if I had to start my day with something, food or drink, that's going to make up my breakfast. I just look at it this way. So I did a little research, and apparently in the United States, breakfast is typically consumed in this country between 7:38 a.m. and 8:31 a.m. That's kind of the range there. So basically about 7:40 to about 8:30 is when most Americans eat breakfast. So I figure if I'm going to consume something in that, 50-ish minutes, what are the things that I know that I'm going to want to consume? And it might even be after a day or an evening of having fun, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, what's going to hit my stomach first? So that created my honorable mentions, and that definitely led my top 5.
Okay. So in my thought process, man, I can't even rank them. I was just like, I sat there and I'm like, I can give you my number 1, and then everything else is number 2.
Sure.
So I'm like, man. Sure. So, but Brian, I want to hear your honorable mentions here.
All right. Okay. So, both I do want to say one thing before I start my honorable mentions. This is something you will not find on my list, whether it's honorable mention or my top 5, and that is baby chickens, liquefied birds. You will not find eggs. All right.
Okay.
So, just because me and eggs have a hot and cold relationship, so right now we're beefing. Okay, I call eggs looking up some things online I was not okay with.
Wouldn't you be chickening?
Yeah. So, so I'm ghosting on the eggs right now. Okay, so here are my honorable mentions. Number 1, again, starting my day between that 50 minutes. Here we go. Number one among my honorable mention. First, I'm gonna mention is just leftovers of some form, some type. Whether it's Chinese food, whatever you made for dinner the night before, if you can reheat it and honestly put it in a burrito shell, you're pretty much good to go. All right, so that's
Yeah.
gonna be that. Next up is toast, but my toast has to have peanut butter and jelly, and there's never a bad time for peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? Peanut butter and jelly time is all the time, right?
Have you ever done a grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Sir. 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 Also, peanut butter and jelly in the air fryer is an amazing thing.
I have not tried that, but
I have a list of grilled cheese hot sandwiches that I perfected in the air fryer. That may be my next podcasting is air frying with Brian. Air frying with Brian. You like it? I love it. All right. So yes, I will have to give you some pointers. It is really, but I have had the grilled one, and it's really, really good.
So Brian, before you go on, let's
Yes,
do
sir.
that. Let's definitely do that here. We'll workshop that.
Yes.
I'll air fry something. You air fry something. We'll try
Boom.
it. We'll
Boom.
jump on at some point. We'll live stream it.
Yes,
and
sir.
it'll just be awesome. All right.
I love it.
Keep
All right.
going, sir.
Okay, so a couple things that are pre-made that got to go on the list because what's breakfast if it's not already pre-made for you. So any type of Jimmy Dean sandwich has got to be on the list, as well as toaster strudel, not Pop-Tarts.
Amen.
Okay. Now I know lots of folks that love the Pop-Tarts, and I hate anybody's game. But if you like a Pop-Tart, go to. This is for grown folks and grown-ups. We rock our toastal strudel. And then the last one of my honorable mention, I got to give straight up love to my Southern roots. And Brad, I know you've been in the military. I'm sure you tried all over this great world of ours. And this is old school from the bottom of my heart. My mom used to make it. One of my favorite things to make for my family, which is good old fashioned shrimp and grits. So that's going to be my honorable mention. It was almost in my top 5, but a couple things knocked it out. But there it is. Definitely shrimp and grits. And again, always toasted strudel. Never Pop-Tarts and eggs. We got to work on our relationship.
So, Brian, I have actually had shrimp and grits. I remember I was in the military. One of my best friends, he was from Alabama.
Okay.
And I was over at his house. He was married, still is actually. Don, love you, buddy. And he made shrimp and grits for us, and. Man, at first I was like, dude, I'm from Iowa, man. Like, what is this? Don't know. Don was one of the few people that I've met in my life that I can instantly trust.
Sure,
dude,
sure.
Trust me. I'm like, okay, enough said. I got you. I'll do it. So that was way better than I ever thought it would be.
I'm going to make you shrimp and grits, bro. Bring them by your house, man. I'm going to. So I want you to.
Them.
And you know what? And I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone's friendship. Hey, Georgia versus Alabama, right there together. But I want your honest feedback on what it is.
Okay.
So we should really, because I love to cook. We should really get some of our friends together, do like some type of podcast taste off or something, see what some things we got out there. But I will, on my honor, sir, I'm going to totally make you some shrimp and grits and bring it to you and the fam to see what you guys think. All right.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to do a grill out anyway this summer. So now now my shoulder's feeling better. I'm not in excruciating pain. I feel like I can do stuff now.
It is more fun to cook if you're not like in tears, right? That does help. It does take some of the joy into it. All right. Oh yeah. Perfect. Yes, sir. All right. Give me your honorable mention, sir. Well, why don't we do your honorable mention? We'll do our top 5s.
All right, so I'm just gonna throw it. What I did is for my list, I just came up with things that I like to eat for breakfast. So my bottom, well, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so my bottom ones here are Honey Nut Cheerios. That's my favorite. That's my favorite cereal. Honey Nut Cheerios is my favorite cereal.
Gotcha.
And then, so for me, there's like kind of 3 different ways of cereal, and that's 3 of my bottom 5.
Okay.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Then you have Fruity Pebbles.
Okay.
And then you have all other cereals.
Wow. Okay.
So
we're going to debate the cereal. We're going to debate the cereal, but go ahead.
Right. So, and I was going back and forth between Fruity Pebbles and Lucky Charms, which one was going to be my own contact. But
Okay,
we get more Fruity Pebbles than we do Lucky Charms.
gotcha.
So,
As long as Captain Crunch didn't make the list, because I don't like when my mouth bleeds. So I'm glad you did not pick Captain Crunch.
And though that definitely goes in the all other cereals.
Worst, real quick, tangent. Worst cereal you ever had? Is there a worst?
Yes.
Okay,
Oat bran.
that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say Kix. Kix is bad.
So we
Kix,
actually we talked about Kix before on the podcast, haven't
yes. Yes, I think it used to be like Kix is for kids. I used to go who aren't loved.
we? Right.
Like, why? like seriously.
Oh,
My
man.
mom bought Kix one time, and I think it was one of those deals. Like I think the bank messed up her paycheck. We had to wait like one extra day, and I wanted cereal, so she goes, "Kix will I'll sell for like 79 cents." And she goes, "Here, this will last you for one day." And I'm like, "Don't you love me?" Like, dude, I swear it was a scene out of Oliver Twist. I was like, walked, like, see, I went from being this kid dressed in like Carl Kanai in the 1980s and early 90s to like wearing like the old school British, like with the cloak and everything's gray and it's snowing for no good reason. And I got blonde hair with the swoop. And I come out with like my hat full of Kicks going, "Why, mother? What have I done to thee?" Like, like it was just traumatic to me.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and because in my house we didn't throw any food, hence my body shape, right? So
Yeah.
I finished them, but I really at that point I knew why Lex Luthor turned evil. Like I could just see it, like yeah, exactly. That turned it right there. Is that the Butler gave? Like if we had given Batman Kicks, totally different cat, different cat. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. All right, so and then to round up my honorable mentions is the greatest of all breakfast drinks. That is
Right, bro.
chocolate milk.
Yo.
Chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is the greatest of all breakfast drinks.
Okay, so I got a follow-up question when you get a moment, sir.
I'm ready.
Okay, what's better? Chocolate milk you buy or chocolate milk you make?
Ooh, man. Okay, so I will say if you can buy AE chocolate milk, okay, that's better. But if you can't, if AE is not around, then it's quick.
Right. Ooh.
Then it's quick. And Nestle Quick in the squeeze bottle. But there is something to be said about the powder, where
powder is like you get like a meal on time because no one can. The only thing about the powder is no one, and I mean this. I don't think any human being is capable of stirring it fast enough that all the powder integrates. So you always got that little lip of powder that's dry. In fact, there's a TikTok that shows why the powder is water soluble, so it doesn't mix in. That's one reason why you got to stir it so much. But that's like you would get like a good mouthful of the milk that's chocolate milk, but I also have to chew the powder, but it's chocolatey, so it just makes everything. I mean, you look like Scarface, but you've been smoking, not smoking, but snorting chocolate powder instead of cocaine. But first, you know what they say about chocolate milk? First, you get the chocolate, then you get the money, then you get the woman. Right. There you go. All right, Al Pacino, come on the show. All right, so
Brian, do you remember back in the 80s and probably the 90s too, the quick container where you had to like pry it open with a spoon.
Yes.
And then you had to get it in there, and it's supposed to be like two. It's supposed to be like 2 or 3 scoops, and you always did more than that.
Of course, because it was so everything that damn thing open, you're going hard.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You only start rationing when you knew you were getting low.
Yes. I mean, that was the best piggy bank you ever had, because once you put the money in there, it was safe. You were not, and you really had to want to spend something to breaking that thing prematurely. Like, that was, whatever. Those things were solid too. Like, if you ever got broken into, like, whack to the head, and you're safe. So, So, again, Nestle, we know you listen. Bring back the box, the tin, because I do kind of miss those. Those were awesome. And that's what we do here on Return to the Nerds, folks. We give a heaping helping of nostalgia along with our humor. So, Brad, I think we came with a new tagline: "Revenge of the Nerds, 2 scoops of Nestle fun." That's where we're going. Yes,
I love it.
there it is, sir. There it is.
I'm writing that down.
Hey, you know what's it? We come up with the good stuff here. All right, sir. Ready for me to tackle my top 5?
I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you.
Okay, here we go. All right. So here comes my top 5. So again, this is 5 things. Again, not only do I want to eat, but I'm thinking, what am I really usually, as much as I love breakfast, I usually don't eat breakfast that early unless I've had a fun night of drinking alcohol the night before. That's when I tend to get up and want food now. So here we go. My top 5. Number 5 on me, a super oily, greasy, old school cheeseburger. That's number 5, okay? I'm a big fat guy, and number 5 on my list for breakfast, especially if I've had a night of loving me some tequila, which I do. Remember, it's tequila clock sometime, right? Somewhere it's always tequila o'clock. Is that big, juicy, greasy, old school diner? Or if any of you live in a place where there's a Sonic, just get like their greasiest supersonic burger. That will cut the grease, and that grease will cut through whatever's in your gut that still maybe affect you a little bit, and that'll make your rest of your day really, really good. All right. Number 4, again, the same thing. You had a little fun the night before, wake up about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe still feeling it, need something to get you right in the head. That is number 4 is going to be a good old-fashioned mimosa. All right. So remember, there's no orange juice that makes it breakfast, makes it healthy, right? All right. So you call it cocktails, I'll call it who the hell cares. But we're gonna knock out some cocktails and get us some mimosas. All right. Number 3, the only cereal on my list. Now this one we go, partner. Bradley, I love you like a brother that I found out my father had a second family. Okay, I want you to know that. All right. I love you like we were on Maury Povich and we found a DNA test match. All right. So here's what I love you like we're reading the will together. Who's getting what? All right, I love you, man. You're my brother. So for me though, Fruity Pebbles, Lucky Charms, we can argue over Kicks. We all know Captain Crunch, whatever. There is only one greatest cereal in the world today. And its mascot is Tony the Tiger. They are great Frosted Flakes.
Yes. Yes.
You lost me a little bit. Frosted Flakes was like, what? That's in the other category? Come on, Brad. Come on, Brad. Get a little choked up. I know. I feel you. All right. Okay. Number 2. This was something I had never had till I moved to Iowa because we weren't big pizza eaters in my family, but coming to Iowa, ice cold pepperoni pizza the next morning, especially if it's Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut thin crust pepperoni pizza is fantastic the next morning. You got a microwave, ice cold. Yeah. And then number 1, this is a meal that can be had all within itself. You don't need anything except maybe a mimosa to wash it down. But number 1, the greatest thing ever to have for breakfast. Forget your eggs, forget your toast, forget your salt, forget your pepper, maybe a little hot sauce, because hot sauce makes everything better. And it is when, sometimes when Wilbur and Babe have outlived their usefulness, some pig, good old-fashioned bacon.
Very good, man. So I dig your list. So you could actually probably take all of my top 5 favorite breakfast foods and have them all in one meal.
Okay.
So you probably know where I'm going with this. So we're going to start off my
I think you can do it with mine as well. Let's just get it. Let's just do this.
So actually, you know what? That reminds me. I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So have you ever heard of macaroni and cheese for breakfast?
I've had macaroni and cheese for breakfast as a leftover. I've never made the point of having for breakfast. No.
Right. I saw on I think it was like a YouTube short or something where somebody put like eggs and breakfast sausage and all that and mix it in with macaroni and cheese. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try this.
Yes, sir.
Right. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I-
The
wha-
macaroni and cheese breakfast casserole. I'm digging it.
right. Once the words macaroni and cheese
Yes.
come out, you have my attention.
Now, Bradley, again, coming from the South, the macaroni and cheese that most people eat that I've seen, that's the Kraft. No
Mhm.
shade to Kraft
Mhm.
at all. Again, come on, sponsor the podcast. We love you. But
Yeah.
the Kraft mac and cheese was like when like that was like, okay, we got nothing better to do. Got to eat like Tuesday. It's Tuesday night dinner. But in
Yeah.
the South, when we have macaroni and cheese, it's like a production, right? So it's old
Mhm.
school in a casserole dish. You bake it. It's super golden. But my mac and cheese that I make, my whole style macaroni and cheese, actually has bacon in it.
Mm.
So when I make mac and cheese, I make bacon macaroni and cheese with all the bacon fat goodness in it. And again, it's why I will probably not see my 50th birthday. But it is a life well lived. All right. So with that though, macaroni and cheese for breakfast. I think it's going to be a thing in my life, sir. I think it's going to be a thing in my life.
I think what we may have to do is we may have to have one of those tequila nights, and then maybe we'll have to
Sir.
do that for
Sir,
some
don't
for
throw me with the
breakfast.
good time.
I'm in, buddy. I'm in.
We got it. We're going to make it happen.
All right, so we're gonna start my top 5, and we're just gonna start it off with toast. So you gotta have toast. Toast is, breakfast got a lot of carbs, and I'm gonna have those carbs now. And you are
All the
right.
carbs. All the carbs.
There's 2 ways that I will have toast. One is just butter and jelly, or
Okay.
peanut butter and jelly.
Sure.
Those are the only 2 acceptable ways to have toast.
Absolutely.
And I remember my grandma, R.I.P. When I was a kid, I would go over to her house every morning, and she would make me toast, and it was the greatest toast I've ever had in my life. Because if you ever ate food from your grandmother, they make it with so much love,
Yes.
and that love makes everything
Yes.
taste 100% better.
My grandmother would make toast in the oven instead of like the toaster.
Mhm.
And I can still see it in my head until I close my eyes. Grandma, R.I.P. That so by the way grandma's cooked, she would
Yeah.
actually take 3 pats of butter and
Wow.
arrange them on the toast, put that in the oven. So the bread was toast except for there were these 3 little sections
Mhm.
that were like super soft, buttery, delicious. And then I would tear the piece of toast into sections around that buttery middle. So now I've got like 3 pieces of mini toast that was
Yes.
just like the butter bites. Again, all the carbs, all the calories, all the love. Nobody can cook for you like your grandma.
Mm.
Great point. Great point.
Amen. So after toast, I know you brought it up in your number 1. I put bacon and sausage together because, I mean, there's very few things in this world that are better than bacon.
Absolutely, you're correct.
I had I made a chicken griller for dinner. I grilled it. I got one from Hy-Vee.
Sure.
And oh my gosh, man, it was amazing.
Yes.
Chicken it was a cheese stuffed chicken wrapped in bacon. I grilled that baby. I brushed some good old fashioned barbecue sauce on there, some good old sweet baby Ray's. Although I didn't have honey barbecue, so I just had to use a regular stuff. But
that's all right. That's okay. It's okay.
It was still amazing.
It is hard pressed to put anything behind the words bacon wrapped
Mm-hmm.
and it not be something you would try.
Right.
Like you could put, bacon wrapped antifreeze. Well,
I mean,
well,
think about
I
this.
wouldn't want to make a habit of it,
Right.
but that one time, let's give it a shot.
I mean, if bacon can hold it in, it can't be that bad for you.
By the way, that's the title of this week's podcast: Bacon Wrapped Antifreeze.
I'm writing that down too. Oh, bacon wrapped Oh, and you know what? It's not going to be WRAPP. It's going to be R. It's going to be because of a conversation that you and I had earlier.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so now the people that we need to reach out in this episode so far are Nestle,
Yes. Kraft.
Kraft, uh,
Pacino.
yep, and just bacon.
Yes,
All right.
just the pig industry. We love you.
Yes.
I have also thought that, you know what, at some point this is gonna be a little morbid, but you know, like, imagine if you're like the pig farm and
Mhm.
you wonder hey, where's Joey at? And then, you know, the farmer's making Joey for dinner. But what's that we all know that pig smell, that pork smell, especially when
Yeah.
it's bacon and that pig fat, that pork fat is rendering. I would be the most cannibalistic pig ever.
Right.
I would be, you know, I would be the Buffalo Bill of pigs. That would just like, come out in the back, come on. Go. I would tell all the other little kids I would do the order 66 of all the little piglets, and I'd be just coming out just horribly grotesque, and it would just be great. It would totally would
Right.
be who I would be, because you know, as a pig, I'm going in for all the bacon.
Wilbur, Wilbur, Wilbur.
What's in the box? Yeah, all the things. All the things. All right.
I dig it. All right, so after bacon and sausage, you gotta talk about eggs. I like mine scrambled with stuff in it. I usually mix it right in with my sausage.
I think it's called an omelet.
Yeah, pretty much omelet. We'll
Yeah,
we'll change. You know what? I'm
sure.
changing my eggs to omelet because I didn't put
Sure.
omelet on there, and eggs by itself. Uh, you're right. Okay, cool. So after eggs, or I'm sorry, omelets.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
My number 2 favorite thing for breakfast are pancakes, waffles, or French toast. It's not breakfast without pancakes, waffles, or French toast. Now, waffles are hit or miss. Um, uh, I have to admit I have never made a really good waffle homemade,
Okay.
but I like to go to those hotels, and when I go to those hotels, you better believe I'm getting a whole damn waffle.
Boom. Boom.
Now, I may not be able to make a good waffle batter, but I can make one heck of a French toast. French toast is my thing. So, like when we do breakfast, when we
Sure.
make breakfast, I always do my French toast. You got the
Gotcha.
eggs, you got the cinnamon, you got the nutmeg. I throw just a pinch of chili powder in there,
Ooh, I thought you were gonna say a bit of booze, but chili pepper works as well.
and then I put vanilla in there as well. Um, so I'm sure my wife is not watching this or gonna listen to this, so you would know if you would paid attention. um, and pancakes. So my youngest daughter Leia, she
Yes.
makes some fantastic pancakes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I may have to bribe her into making Uncle Brian some pancakes.
Oh,
I
you don't.
struggle with I there are a lot of things I can cook.
Mm-hmm.
Pancakes and waffles are not. I made French toast in the past. I actually in high school took a French class,
Nice.
and part of the French, the teacher was great. She only taught us how to make crepes. So I haven't made a crepe in forever. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I feel like, you know, if Jigsaw ever comes to get me and
Mm-hmm.
goes, would you like to play a game?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I was allowed to make crepes, I would survive.
You're right.
I think I could pull that hat out of my back pocket, that trick out of my back pocket. So absolutely, French toast, waffles, pancakes. You ever had a chaffle?
A chaffle, no.
It basically it is for people that do keto. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times you can make a waffle, but it's basically cheese and eggs, and you mix them to a batter, put it in to a waffle maker, and it's basically a cheese waffle, which are really good for like folks that are not into, you know, trying to reduce their carbs. And that's not why I think they're really awesome. And the lady at work that makes them pretty regularly. But chaffles are just delicious.
Oh, I will have a chaffle by the end of the week. I'm going to be looking for. I think I have a Death Star waffle maker that's still in the box. So
Nice.
I will be looking for that this week.
Perfect. All right, what's your number one, my friend?
So my number one is the absolute greatest of all breakfasts that you could ever have. Biscuits and sausage gravy.
Bro. 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 I haven't said this in a few weeks, but bro. You just want a podcast.
Mm,
Bro. Biscuits and gravy.
man.
You know how I said before, if you put bacon wrapped in front of something,
Yeah.
it's got to be good. Let's flip that sentence around. If you put something and finish with and gravy, it's probably okay. Hey,
Right.
here's a grenade and gravy. We'll give it a shot.
I
We'll
mean,
give it a shot. You know,
do you
look,
eat it like an
look,
apple? What?
look, dude. I mean, this will be me. Look, I'm only going to be wrong once.
Right. Right. And what a final moment that's going to be.
Boom. Seriously, all I'm hearing in the back of my head and my soundtrack in my head is Bon Jovi's "Blaze of Glory." That's all I'm hearing right
I'm with you. Now, when it comes to biscuits and gravy, I have to give my wife all the credit in the world. She makes amazing biscuits and gravy. So all growing up, we would go to every year. It was my grandpa, my dad, and myself. We'd go to Old Thrashers, which was this. It's in southeastern Iowa. It's in Mount Pleasant,
Okay.
Iowa,
Okay.
what part of Iowa that's in. I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
been there in a long time.
southeast.
Yep, southeast. And they have like steam engines and all sorts. It's old times. My grandpa was a blacksmith, and so he was into that stuff, and it was always a Labor Day weekend, and every year we'd go there, and they would have a biscuits and gravy tent, and that was my favorite breakfast of the year until we went a couple years ago. Well, this is probably about 7 or 8 years ago now.
Sure.
And I took my wife, and here I am for the 3-hour drive to get to Mount Pleasant. I'm talking up these biscuits and gravy, and when we get there, they were horrible.
No.
And so my wife was like, "Okay, we got to do redemption here." So the very next day, oh my gosh, I mean, like, she knocked it out of the park. I mean, like, this is like hero-gasm.
Okay.
Biscuits and
Okay.
gravy.
All right.
Yes, I just said that.
Bro, again, you want to run the week, man. Keep piling on. You're winning it.
But
yes.
oh man, biscuits and gravy. Whew.
Dude, that's gonna have to be my dinner sometime this week. I think that might be tomorrow. That
Mhm.
might be dinner tomorrow. Biscuits and gravy. Dude, I mean, seriously, how that was not on my list. Because it's got that, I think, is again for those of us that are nerds. I think that
Mhm.
has the greatest, because number one, it's one of those things that it's one composed dish, right? So
Yeah.
you've got the good old, I mean, whether you make them fresh or get them out of the can, you've got the biscuits, but the sausage gravy, you just slather it on.
Yeah.
Okay. And for me, I'm adding jalapenos or hot sauce. I like my stuff
Mhm.
spicy. And then you could just, again, it's one of those things I travel a lot for work, and it's actually one of the hotels that my company uses. They have like the continental breakfast, but they always have fresh biscuits and gravy. And
Mm.
I not gonna lie, I went downstairs. Like, this has been a trip, a few months ago now, and they would just put down the fresh biscuits
Oh.
and gravy, and I get up to the containers, and there are people behind me, and I go, I'm sorry for what you're about to witness, because I had no restraint, no couth, no social etiquette. It was just like it was, like
Ugh.
it's got, okay. We're both gamers, so remember when you get the old school Mortal Kombat,
Mhm.
and there would be Scorpion and Sub Zero,
Yeah.
and it would just be fight. And, and I was just like, yes, and it was every handful
Oh,
of
man.
biscuits and gravy in the back. All I could hear my brain going, finish him. And then when I got done and I sat back, barely able to breathe, I just had this glee, and again above my head in my brain, I saw flawless victory. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So thank you for bringing in the biscuits and gravy, sir.
Oh, and that is our favorite breakfast list.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
Brian, before we move on to versus mode, You have a tat for me now. A
I
tat.
do.
What is tat? Let's go ahead and explain what a tat is before we
Tat.
get into it.
So TAT is our attempt to think about this, TAT. And our tasks look different depending on which one of us is doing them.
Mhm.
I usually do some sort of a riddle. You've done lots of fights or give an idea of, hey, if we change one little piece of a character's backstory or a major story in their canon, what happens, all those sorts of things. We'd have moved one character from one universe or show to another. So yours usually are really, really good. So I was working on mine for this week. And I typically do riddles. And you're starting to get them. But I thought, is there another way that I can do a riddle, but also do something that I think would be a little fun? So I'm going to, number one, apologize for what is about to happen. Okay. I'm going to do a riddle, but in the form of a rap. Now,
Okay.
I am not creative enough. My son writes raps on the regular. I'm going to and I think I'm supposed to say this as part of the podcast. This is not any of my own creation, meaning that I borrow heavily from Jay Z
Okay.
with some of the formatting here. So Jigga, you don't want to smoke. So, I'm really kidding. Really, really. I'm sorry, Hova. We're good. All right. So I'm going to do it. It's going to be a take on his song 99 Problems. So again, I am not
Okay.
a rap. Hang on. What's the bonus? Thuggish Ruggish Bone. We are not against rap. We're not against rappers. We are against those thugs. I am neither of those three. So, but I'm going to attempt to and I'm also fighting a cold. So I'm going to attempt to do this in one take. We are streaming this live, so we're about to see how this works out. But
Also, Brian, don't
yes,
forget bacon wrapped antifreeze.
bro. Bro. Okay. So here it is. So, but this is a riddle. So here it is. So Bradley, I'm only going to rap it once. I think that's all I got in me, but I will gladly
All right.
go over it as many times as you like.
Gotcha.
So Brad gets 3 guesses. I can give him, and then he gets 3 guesses. I will go this as many times as he wants to, and then we will do it from there. So when you're ready, sir, I'm going to give you my tat and see if you can figure out who this verse is about when you are ready.
I'm ready. Give it to me.
All right. If you're having girl problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems, been a mutant, ain't one. I got Century Patrol under magnet control. Foes want to make sure my casket's closed. Chuck's kids say I want to rule the globe. I'm from Germany, stupid. What kind of facts are those? If you grew up in camps having to fight for clothes, you celebrate the minute you was having dough. I'm like form the brotherhood, leader is my role. From shapeshifters to toes, my ranks will grow. I rock cloaks and helmets. I ain't dumb. I got 99 problems. Being a mutant ain't one.
Thank you, Magneto.
Boom!
I had it down to Magneto or Charles Xavier, but then when I heard cloaks, I'm like, got it.
Very good, sir. I didn't even have to do it more than once. All right, thank you. You probably saved the listeners. By the way, please don't unfollow the podcast. I promise. I'll never do it again. And that was a deal breaker. That was too far.
Come on in. We have room for everybody. We like everybody here. we stay positive. This is what you get when you become
You
part
get
of
very
the Fandemic
untalented
family.
rap. Yes.
Right,
yes.
right. You're gonna become friends with us. All right, so we're gonna move on to the last part of the show. This last part this is brand new. The first time this ever happened. I figured since we're changing some things up, I wanted to bring this up. So we always like to talk about different fights. So at one time I was thinking about doing a podcast called Fandemic Fights, but this is the rendition of that. This is now getting worked into every show. This is verse mode. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you 2 characters, okay? And then we are going to discuss and we're going to theorize who and how they would meet, fight, and who would win.
Okay.
All right. So the characters for this week that we are going to do, every week I'm going to try to at least get one character out of something that we've talked about, either What's Awesome Report, something what we're talking about. So, but for this week, Miss Marvel is going to
Nice.
be one character,
Okay.
and we are going to have to figure out how they would meet, why they would fight, and if Miss Marvel could beat Han Solo and Chewbacca
As a pair.
as a pair.
Okay.
Because my theory for this is if Han Solo's around, chances are Chewbacca's around. Now,
Gotcha.
there's more Solo Chewbacca than there is Solo Han Solo.
Yes.
So,
By the way, have you ever wondered when Han Solo was growing up and before he found his internal swag, was Han Solo ever hand Solo?
well, he was looking at Amelia Clark. So,
you wonder if he bent in the knee. All right. Hey, okay, I don't feel as bad about my rap anymore. Okay. Okay. All right.
welcome to
Okay.
the pandemic.
Yes. All right. So back to our verses. Okay. So we've got Fighter 1. We've got Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. Fighter 2. She's going to somehow interact with Han Solo and Chewbacca, and what would lead to them fighting and who would win. So it is again Han versus Han and Chewie versus Miss Marvel. So one question before we go into this. In whatever stage and universe this occurs, she has her powers, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's not them beating up a 16-year-old. Okay.
Right.
I mean, they are going to try and beat up a 6-year-old, but at least a 6-year-old with powers. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay.
So I think that this is, I mean, like we can merge. It's going to take place. I'm just saying the Marvel universe. Somehow Han Solo and Chewbacca, they end up in the Marvel 616.
Okay.
Kamala Khan sees Chewbacca and thinks he's a big hairy teddy bear and wants to give him a hug. And she comes around, and then Han Solo stick comes in. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? I don't have a good Han Solo impersonation, and I have a worse Wookiee. So you will not get my Wookiee because I'm not drinking tonight.
I think a future podcast, I may take on Limp Bizkit's Nookie and make it
the Wookiee.
I did it all
for the Wookiee.
Because I may not can roll as hard as Jay-Z. I can match Fred Durst. I feel real confident that I can match Fred Durst. All right.
Since I came clean about Sons of Anarchy, I do have to say the new Limp Bizkit album with dad vibes is actually pretty good.
I have not been Limp Bizkit since hot dog flavored chocolate water.
And that's the right answer. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the right answer.
Yeah,
they haven't done anything great since then.
Yeah.
I mean, My Way, Nookie, and then, but give the new one a listen. At least Dad Vibes is really good. I don't. It's not on my normal playlist. So I couldn't name off, but I do like Dad Vibes a lot.
Okay.
And the video is even better. So definitely check that out. But yes, Fred Durst, and speaking of, Fred Durst may be coming into this part of the episode next week. Now that you say that, so
only if you bring Christina Aguilera, only if Christina Aguilera is there and she's sitting between him and Carson Daly.
Oh no, it'll have to be him against Marilyn Manson,
or as I call him, Brian, as is his real first name.
It is.
Have you ever seen the TRL before he was Marilyn Manson? He just sit in the audience and they go, I forget what his last name is, but so they go, he introduced himself and he goes, what in early days of Total Request Live, this had to be about a couple years before Marilyn Manson was even a thing. And he is doing an interview asking, he goes, I'm a singer. And they go, what? And they go by my stage name. And they didn't say it much cooler than that. But he goes, but before we use the name Marilyn Manson, I think you might have said Marilyn Manson as the name of the band, not
Mm-hmm.
just him. And I think that's actually how it started. It was the name of the band, not just him.
Makes sense.
Kind of like Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah.
So in any event, and then like 2 years later, there's Marilyn, all his Maryland-ness. But he just looks like this total kind of geeky emo kid who was in the music, and then you go, and that's where we're at here. Okay.
Yep.
So
All right, guys. You have fun. I mean,
yeah. Hey, Rose McGowan, he was doing
Sure.
something right.
Yes, he was. Evan Rachel Wood. Same.
Yes.
Although now things are a little bit different, so I don't,
Yeah,
Uh,
time marches on.
right. I mean, assault is never good in any way. So
And just remember, and I think this may be a new tagline of the podcast, no matter what happens, be with the one you love as long as it's not Amber Heard. So, we're going to get so soon. All right.
I don't think we're big enough for that.
I stand with Johnny Depp. Okay, I stand with Jack Sparrow. Edward Scissorhands. That's my boy. Not so much Grindelwald. Okay, but
I mean, he was better at it than everyone else. So
I like Farrell a little bit better. But anyway, okay, we're getting. All right. Let's get back to our verses. Okay, so we got Han and Chewie versus Miss Marvel. Okay,
yes.
So are we doing this together? We're gonna trade off. How are we gonna go? How are we gonna do this?
We'll just discuss it. We'll do this together.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
you want to lead off or want me to start?
I'll lead off. So Kamala Khan shows up at this bar, and how she got into the bar is because she was known, and people recognize her as Miss Marvel.
Right.
So she is ecstatic, and actually, I wouldn't say a bar. I would say more of like a cantina.
Okay.
And shows up. The second she walks in, she sees a giant 9-foot teddy bear. And she runs up. Now, she doesn't run up. She stretches out to pull this teddy bear in to give a nice big hug. This gets the attention of an eagle-eye nerf herder, Han Solo. Han Solo turns around and says, "Hey, that's not nice." And he doesn't wait for anything else. Sure. He pulls his gun and gives her one last warning. At this time, she lets go because Kamala Khan is a really good person. And so she lets go of Chewbacca. Chewbacca roars. Again, you're not getting my Chewbacca or my Wookiee. Oh, there it is. There it is, sir. And you know what, Brian? Why don't you take it from there?
Okay, so they're hanging out, and she's going to give Chewie a hug. And while they're giving Chewie a hug, Han objects. So she lets Chewie go. Chewie goes, and she tries to explain what she does. And as she holds her hands up, Han sees the bangle on her arm, and Han realizes this is a treasure he's been seeking ever since he was since he was a teenager. And he goes, "I'll tell you what, kid, I'll let it slide if you give him the bangle." Well, this is where we lead in. This would have been Han and Chewie pre-episode 1. So there's still more of the roguish pirates, okay? So Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, goes, "No." And he goes, "Kid, you got two choices. You can give it to me, or we can take it." Hearing that, she attempts to leave, and he quickly goes, "Where are you going? Short round?" And as she attempts to leave, because all persons of color are the same from Han Solo, as she's trying to leave, she's bumping into people. She's trying to use the hard light to climb out. She's knocking over things. People are getting upset, and just as she's almost out of the bar, Chewbacca's big furry paw grabs her by her leg and pulls her back into the group of people where now she doesn't have a manner of escape. She's surrounded by Chewie, she's surrounded by Han, and she's going to have to deal with the Han Solo combo.
All right, I think that is the perfect meeting of the two. So, we got that part. Now, who would win? So between, do you think Kamala Khan would win in a fight with Han Solo and Chewbacca?
I want to say yes. I do. I really want to say yes, but we're going to, again, if we're looking at this seriously, from the Han Chewie when they were really more pirates before they were
Mhm.
trying to save the galaxy from the Empire, and we're taking this with Kamala Khan newly getting her Miss Marvel powers that she
Mhm.
does not have great control over. I think two fighters for all the comic relief that especially Chewie
Yeah,
will give in the books and the comics and the movies and shows. With this, he's still a Wookiee that's still pretty much a badass, as is Han Solo. I think the two of them would win in a fight with Miss Marvel, but I think there'll definitely be a few underhanded tactics
sure.
in which to do that.
I agree with you, but I would offer one caveat in there is I think at some point during the fight that Han would take Kamala Khan with him. If he needed the bangle and he couldn't get it, he would
Sure.
take her with in more of a like, okay, well, you're in danger. Now you're coming with me because you're going to be safe.
Right.
All right.
Well, I can see where this would happen would be while they are not again straight up rebels at this point. If this, however, let's say there's a wormhole that led Han and Chewie, I could just see Han and Chewie being pursued by the Empire.
Mhm.
They go into a wormhole. They get them into Kamala Khan's South Jersey neighborhood. They see the bangle that starts them looking for it. There's stormtroopers who are again originally going there looking for Chewie and Han. They see the bangle as well. So, very much Han and Chewie are very much the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, and they're almost very much a. By the way, how I don't know why I'm just now seeing the similarity between Han Solo and Star Lord.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, seeing that, yeah, Brian. But totally, would see them taking Kamala for two reasons. One part, getting her away from them to get the bang for themselves, but also one part, she is still a kid.
Yeah.
While they may have, had no problem roughing her up to get the bangle, they're not going to kill her, which the Empire definitely would do.
Yeah. I dig it, Brian. That was kind of fun. We'll probably fine tune
I like that.
part of the show. All right, Brian. Let's go ahead and start closing this up. Brian, where can we find you?
All right. As always, I'm pretty easy to find on social media. I'm a big Facebooker. Yes, no one talk about how old I am, but I do love me some booking of the face. So, Brian, send me Dennis on Facebook. Feel free to send me a friend request. Follow my stream. I try and keep things interesting and funny. Talk a lot about all things fun, especially tequila. So feel free to jump on and chop it up with me anytime.
Tequila and tacos.
Boom.
All right, so you can tweet at me at Fandemic3. You can message me on Facebook at The Fandemic. I'm also active on TikTok at The Fandemic1. You can hear my reviews and so much more. Now, if you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. One, you can go to Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/The Fandemic. You can go to anchor.fm/PVOTN or go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley B10. Or, you know what? Just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Also, don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Also, make sure you subscribe to this on YouTube, get a review, and make sure you click on the little arrow or the bell so you know that you're notified when we do go live. Brian, I
Yes,
think
sir.
I think we are at max levels of awesome for the week.
Love it.
Let's end like we do every week on a positive note. What do we do? How do we do that, Brian?
All right, sir. So as always, thank you for leveling up your awesome on the podcast. Remember, never say die. And remember, Goonies never say die, and no retreat, no surrender.
We're all playing the same game in life, just on a different level. Thanks for catching up. You're welcome for leveling up your awesomeness. Live free or die empty. Have a great day.